Hey everyone, so in this episode, I invite you to stay and listen because in celebration of opening Misi House, which is the publishing company, I am reading to you a little bit about tattoos and pearls. Why should you hang out? Because I'm talking about the courage to be seen. Some of us are afraid of going out there and doing all kinds of visibility, and we are out here to help you get on out there and do your thing. So let's tune in. Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. So today we're going to dive into Ink and Instinct, the courage to be seen, which is a chapter in my book, Tattoos and Pearls. So I'm going to read a little bit of it and then we're going to dive right into it and see what comes out of the lessons learned from my book. The courage to be seen. Have you ever felt the urge to shrink away when someone praised your work? Does that happen to you? Or found yourself unable to celebrate your accomplishments even as others cheer you on? You're not alone. The journey from dismissing recognition to embracing your true value is one of the most profound transformations on the path to personal sovereignty. In this chapter, I invite you into one of my most vulnerable spaces, the lifelong struggle to accept praise, recognition, and opportunity with the same grace and openness with which they were offered. For too many years, a resting bitch face became my shield against the discomfort of being truly seen. A defensive posture born from childhood experiences where my achievements were either dismissed or undermined. The truth is, many of us, especially women, people of color, and those raised in cultures that prioritize humility, have been conditioned to deflect compliments, minimize our accomplishments, and accept whatever is given to us without question. We've been taught that asking for what we truly want or need is somehow selfish or inappropriate. But what if rejecting the path others have laid out for you isn't rebellion? It's revelation. What if saying no thank you to opportunities that don't align with your authentic self isn't ungrateful? It's essential to honoring your journey. As you read through these pages, I'll share how I transformed from someone frozen in the spotlight to someone who can stand in her power and worth. We'll explore how the Ink framework, instinct, navigation, and killer mindset, coupled with the Pearl strategy, can help you thaw out your frozen state and step fully into the recognition you deserve. This isn't just about learning to accept compliments with a smile. It's about claiming your right to define success on your unique gifts, even when, especially when, there is no established path to follow. Are you ready to transform from accepting what others give you to intentionally designing what you want to receive? To move from broken mirrors to polished pearls? Let's begin. Thaw out your frozen state. Apologies to everyone that has been a great person to me, who has given me an opportunity and who has seen me. Unfortunately, being able to receive recognition, accolades, or compliments were not easy for me. In fact, they made me uncomfortable. For about 1,000,000 reasons, and one, I could never get myself to see my true value. Whether that was due to my unconscious past traumas or my limited understanding of how wonderful I truly am, I'll never know. But that time for me has passed and I've grown and I recognize my full awesomeness now. Whether I received a promotion, an award, good reviews at work, or a kiss, a hug from my kids, or a nice gesture from a stranger, all of these experiences led to what is well known as resting bitch face. People must have asked themselves whether or not I was actually mad at them for giving me something good. It's so unfortunate that something good felt so uncomfortable to me. It's the opposite of what I wanted to do, but I was stuck in that state. The emotion was not being mad, but my reaction was silent, calm, and almost with no emotion. My excitement didn't surface, often feeling as if diving into feeling any real emotion would dismantle my very existence. What I truly felt, what was being gifted to me? What if I felt for real? And I did feel. I felt love and the love others gave me, but I could just not express it. Being recognized for doing well hardly ever happened throughout my childhood. My achievements have been undermined and were non existent. My mom would not be happy for me. For example, I recall when I played the flute extremely well, and all she questioned was, why was I watching the music director as if I was infatuated with him? Unfortunately, men weren't even my cup of tea. The entire band watched him because he would direct us to play the flute up or down. If the cues were missed, the band would not move uniformly. Another occurrence is when the monthly award ceremony rolled out, and I would be awarded perfect attendance, honor roll, and I even won an art contest. But no one was there in the audience to celebrate me or cheer me on. Out of necessity, everyone was working or doing their own thing. When someone was there, there were criticisms more than cheering me on. I wanted to have someone be proud of me like all the other kids. At work one day, I had been working diligently and I learned the ins and outs of my work. The manager came one day and played a stupid joke on me. She began talking to me with appreciation and I thought it was real. But she was just joking with me and didn't give me anything. I felt so disappointed and stupid. At the start, I was thinking, oh, and began to feel my eyes watering, thinking I was actually being appreciated. Instead, it was a joke. I stepped away to have a moment to myself and returned back when I was ready. I was crushed to feel vulnerable again, only to be seen as the target of a cruel joke. So let's talk about this part. So some of us, right, have wanted to feel seen and have wanted to be a person who receives it. But unfortunately, when you don't have it and you haven't received it as a kid, you don't know how to accept it. So what happens? You end up being guarded. And then when people actually do come to honor you, I always think, is it real or are they just kidding? Is it fake? Is it genuine? And why should I get excited about something that is not going to end up with anything good? So, no matter what I did, no matter what I achieved, it just never was good enough. And that's how I felt. So, having the courage to be seen was very difficult for me. Now, let's go into the trailblazer void. In my Latino culture, it's rude to not accept what people give us. Commonly, people say, if you get lemons, make lemonade, or something like that when things don't go your way. In a way, it is saying to accept what is and agree with anything and everything without considering your own wants or needs. However, there are times when accepting what others want for you is right out, not in alignment with your life. I say, why do I need to accept what you give me? I don't want the lemons, nor do I want to make lemonade. Take it back, please. Or simply politely stated, no, thank you. We have been conditioned to accept our current situation, our current circumstances, and our current environment. We are taught to be kind, be a person who accepts gifts that we didn't ask for, that we will never use, and that will undoubtedly make for more waste in our homes. Yet for many years, I just took what was given to me because I was brainwashed to believe I had to. We aren't taught to say, my preference is this or that. I was taught to be grateful for what we had because what I had was not easy to obtain. Asking for what I wanted was a language that didn't exist until it did. Prior to understanding this, I accepted the titles, the labels, the names, the personal path, and career journey others before me had, until I learned I don't need to follow the same road traveled as those before me. My trajectory is completely different. So why should I take the same staircase to the same floor someone else rose to? Why can't I teach others where my path can lead to? Why can't I be the person who is no longer following the crowd? I've done the same as those before, but better. And I've taken my role beyond what it has seen before. My role is on a different journey. Therefore, it should end differently too. When you pave your own way, you sacrifice winning for the sake of others. Because you create winning for others sometimes. Because when you create winning for others, you can't also give it to yourself. But there are still opportunities to take respect in other ways. I say take purposely because this has to be intentional. The world or the mindset of abundance will find a way to reward you. It will most certainly look different than it ever has before. And it will come. You will need to know how to ask for it and what to call it when the time comes, because others won't know what you're ready for, as well as what it is called, because you're initiating this new journey. Trail your own path for the sake of transforming your own journey, not mapping out the same journey as others, but your very own. A journey that requires you to dig deep into your own instinct and maybe even ink in your own destiny. Be a gatebreaker that can rewrite the path forward. And with the right strategy, you can help others along too. Remember that showing our emotions doesn't make us weak. They make us human. And is this not what we are here on earth to experience? To truly feel, to truly be free. Never doubt that ink and instinct can transform you in more ways than you know. I'm getting the chills just reading that. Here's the thing is that sometimes we are the first person to do it. And one of the main things that I learned that I want you to learn from this is you can craft your job into what you want it to be. Because when you add your sauce and your sazon to the role, it can really become something amazing that you didn't think you could make happen. So it's important that you realize that sometimes when people offer you something, you don't automatically have to take it. And it's not automatically going to be a good thing for you. I've had this realization, and it's sad to say, But not everybody has good intentions for where you're going. Not everyone. So you really need to understand, what does it mean, and is this going to work for me? Let's go on to the next section. Broken mirrors to polished pearls, your blueprint for triumph. There are no accidents in this life. Every moment, every wound, every victory, they're all connected in a tapestry that only makes sense when you step back far enough to see the pattern. I started this journey with you in the red brick buildings of Passaic, a little Mexican girl with big eyes and bigger dreams, hungry in more ways than one. Now we stand here together at the summit, not because the mountains moved, but because we climbed them, one painful, deliberate step after another. Remember the fractured foundations? The one-bedroom apartment where dreams seemed impossible and chaos reigned? That same girl who cooked macaroni to survive now sits in corporate boardrooms, making decisions that impact thousands. The child who shared sweaters with her brother now mentors others on building their professional brand. From -0 to executive suite. Not by magic, but by method. This just tells us that where we start isn't where we finish. What we've been through can lead to who you are and can teach you so much about life. Your perspective is so important in how you bring it into the decision-making table. So some of you are not talking about specific things. Don't say where you're from. Don't talk about some of your experiences. And I'm not saying air out all your dirty laundry. What I'm saying is understand where you came from and use it to your advantage. And the skills that you've learned from those experiences are valuable in the workplace, are valuable in your own businesses, are valuable in our community work. So when you think that you don't have anything, and you know you don't have anything, because there's a starting point, and for some of us, it is that -0. So when you have that background and then you gain so much, some of us are even afraid of where, and you tell me, are you scared? I'm asking you, are you scared of losing everything you've worked for because your journey has been so far, because you've climbed so high? You're at the peak and you're like, I'm not going back down. I'm not going back there. That is a life that I used to live, not anymore. So sometimes thinking that you're putting your neck out for certain things, for certain topics, for certain taking a stand on certain things, sometimes it does feel like you may lose all of that. And so that's where calculated risks need to come into play and understand the pros, the cons, what the outcome, is it worth it? And some of those things may come to a crossing point, and understand that decisions need to be made. And it's not easy to put your neck out for certain things. We're getting deep. All right, let's go to the next section. Our story isn't meant to be a fairy tale, it's meant to be a blueprint. When my friend's body fell in that pool hall, something in me died too. The belief that life would never be fair or easy, but something else was born in that moment. The fierce determination that if I survived, it would be for a reason. The fact that you're reading these words means that that determination wasn't misplaced. My tattoos tell the story of my wounds. My pearls showcase what those wounds became with time and intention. Think of all we've overcome together. The weight of raising 3 children from the age of 21. The invisibility of being the Mexican girl in rooms where power wasn't designed to include me. The heartache of parents who couldn't or wouldn't see me. Each of these moments could have been an ending. Instead, I transformed them into beginnings. So a lot of you are walking a brand new path. You are the blueprint. You are that person in your family. That's why it's called first gen, because you're the person that's making it happen for others. You're the person that's creating, that's innovating. Because what's the reality? Sometimes we have to build our own damn office. We have to build our own business. We have to build our own platforms. We have to build our own things because it's not out there for us. It's not there for the taking sometimes. So we need to create it so that we can build it, so that we can have the people come in, so we can invite those that we want to help, so that we can create those platforms. So now I want to tell you where your journey and mine intersect. I've laid out the tools for you throughout these pages. I've shown you how instinct guided me through dangerous neighborhoods and corporate hierarchies alike. I've revealed how navigation helped me chart paths where none existed before. I've demonstrated how a killer mindset transforms limitations into launching pads. The Inc. framework isn't just my story, it's your roadmap. And Pearls, that's your strategy for winning on your own terms. Positioning yourself where opportunity can find you, executing with such consistency that your reputation precedes you, adapting to setbacks without abandoning your destination, resilience that turns trauma into your teacher, leveraging every relationship to multiply your impact, sovereignty that lets you operate from your center of power. My grandmother once told me, "You're going to be okay. You're not the first, and you won't be the last." Her kitchen, that small aromatic space where I became her right hand after her injury, was the first place I understood that brokenness can be healed through connection. When she couldn't do everything herself, we did it together. And somehow it became more than either of us could have created alone. Oh, that touched me so bad. Ugh. The partnership. I'll leave you with this. The partnership of that visibility, especially during these times, is what we need together. Because there's so much in this world that already brings us down, that already sees us as less than. So therefore, the power of two people, power of three, power of four, power of five, power of six, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The multiplication, the development of everything together, what that becomes is immense. It's so stretches out so much that we will be able to make it, and we will be able to support each other. We will be able to hold each other in dark times, in hard times, in all kinds of times. And the courage to be seen is hard. It's not that easy. It was one of the hardest things for me to do. And it was one of the hardest things for me to continue to do. But every time I did it, that muscle grew. And with time, it will for you too. Woo! Well, it's been another good one. I know we will come back next week. I invite you to read my blogs and articles that I have out there so that you can be the leader you want to be. Because I know you got it in you and you're already doing a lot. So keep going. Don't be afraid to be visible. It takes courage, but it'll work. Get some help, get some support. You don't need to do things alone anymore. And I'm your girl, Miriam Simon. This has been the Latina Mic Drop podcast. See you on the flip side.